Hello. This video is going to be about how to ship eggs so your customer gets their best hatch rate. And if you're buying eggs, you want to ask your person you're buying them from how they're going to ship them. Um, this is my preference for shipping. This is how I ship my eggs. This is also how I love to see eggs when I purchase them, how they come to me like this. It normally means that it's going to be I'm going to get a good hatch rate out of them. So what you want to start with, you want to start with the freshest eggs possible. These are demo eggs. I just grabbed them off the counter. They're over a week old. These eggs would never get shipped. If I was selling eggs, I would date my eggs the date that they were laid. So one, I wouldn't confuse them with other eggs that I was going to sell, and I know how old they are, and my customer would know how old they are. That is just good habits to do. Your preference is you want the freshest eggs possible. I try not to ship eggs that are over 3 days old. If they are over 3 days old, those are usually my bonus eggs. I'm not gonna, someone that say they purchased 6 eggs, they're gonna have 6 fresh eggs. I'm not gonna sell them something that's old. So the first thing I do, I collect my eggs from my hens. As you notice, as I'm storing them, waiting to get enough, I store them with the pointy end down. And so the air cell, the air sac, is on this rounded part and it's at the top. So when you store eggs, that's how you store them. It's just that it makes it better for hatching purposes. So what I'm going to do next is you candle them. You visually look at them and make sure you don't see any cracks, but sometimes the cracks are so small you don't see them until you candle them. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll candle them. So I have my handy dandy little candler. So what we're looking for is, like I said, really tiny cracks. You're looking to see if they have a good air cell, if they look old, if the shell is thin, if there's something inside of them like, hey, these started to go bad. You're just making sure these are good, healthy eggs because you want to ship the best ones. Like I said, these are old. I just got them off the counter. They're probably a week or two old. So like this egg right here, if you can see it, the air cell there is rather large. It's pretty much see-through. You can almost see right through it. So this you can tell is either an old egg or it's from a new layer. At any rate, this is not a good egg to hatch. You would never want to hatch something like this. And if you receive something like this, or you don't sell something like this, this is just not a good egg. And you don't want to receive eggs like that from your breeder either. But this is another one. You got these are, like I said, these are a week old. I would never sell these. They're probably more than a week old. But this one you could see there's no cracks. You'd look around, and if it looked good, those would be fine. But as a seller, you would want to make sure you're not sending eggs that are cracked or old or thin shelled, has something floating around in there like meat spots or something. You just don't want to sell that type of egg. So what I would do next is we're going to pack these eggs as if we're going to ship them. These are old eggs. I'm not shipping them. So what I get is I get a small box. This one, as you see, is one of those UPS priority mailboxes. They're actually free at your local post office. You could just go get them. Doesn't cost you anything. If they have them, you can go pick them up. This small box works because I've got these 6 small eggs. There's plenty of room in here for packing material and those 6 eggs. How I've packed in the past is you always want to wrap your egg with something. In the past, I have used foam inserts, or actually this is pipe insulation. I have used pipe insulation to pack. You just cut a section off that's a little larger than the egg. Stick the egg in and maybe tape it closed. Do not get the foam inserts that have glue on them, so they self-glue. That's the glue sticks to the egg sometimes, and it's just not good for the egg. It could get inside the egg. It could mess the shells up. It could mess up the embryos. You don't want to use those. And they do sell the pipe insulation in several different sizes. So, this was a small pipe. You could get larger ones. I've seen people, matter of fact, I've been shipped eggs in these little things themselves, but I've seen people ship eggs in bubble wrap. The bubble wrap is really thin. It's not ideal to ship them. But if you're putting this inside of something else that's more secure, that's awesome. It protects the eggs, the egg shell from any kind of glue or anything getting on it. Or if, say, one breaks, you don't have residue and stuff all over, all over another egg. If one breaks inside, it's contained inside. That's great. So if you're going to use like bubble wrap or some kind of plastic or something around your egg, that's fine. And then you can just stick them inside your box. But if you have padding all the way in, say you fill the box with padding, then you can stick them in. Just make sure they're not able to hit each other or break. But I just so happen to have these handy dandy foam inserts, which we're going to use in the demo today. It's just, they're quick, they're easy. You can technically, they're nice and thick too. You can technically just buy foam and cut your own size holes if you want, or you can buy the package. I know they're kind of expensive sometimes, but you can buy the pack of your foam inserts, and they're nice. These are, I think, for bantam eggs. And of course, what I have here is kikiriki eggs. But what you would do is it's just for shipping purposes and for the demo purposes, we're just going to use this. Make sure your air sac is on the round end, it's upright, and you put your pointy end in, because you want to make sure all your air sacs stay up at all times as much as possible. Air sac up, pointy end in, and we're just going to stick them in. And these have these little cylinders in here where it was cut out. I'm just kind of leaving them in there for right now. And we'll just stick them in, make sure the air cell stays up. So we have them all with the air cell up. And so I'm going to put them in my box, but to start with, these little shippers come with some extra padding. I'm going to put the extra padding in the bottom. So the base of the egg that's on the bottom of this, these little holes have more padding on the bottom. So we got our air cells upright. We want to make sure we put them in the box with the air cells upright. And just so I remember which way I did it myself, and for the customer who gets it knows that this is the side that needs to go up. So we have our air cells up. I have more padding for my shipper, so my shipping things that I got. So I'll put those in there. But as you see, I still have a little extra space. I don't like any space. I want to make sure we are filled to the top, so there's no way these eggs are going to move. If you have the little foam inserts that were from the air, from where you put the egg in, you can use that to take up your extra space. You can use packing peanuts to take up your extra space, or to fill the box. Let's say you were using the pipe insulation or these to fill the box. You could use, any kind of packing material. I've seen shredded mail or boxes. You can recycle your junk mail by shredding it and using it for packing material. Or, let's see, I have used in the past, but not actually this. There is pine shavings. I have not used the pine shavings, but you can use pine shavings. I've used pine flakes. It's a lot bigger than that, but it's anything to pack your box. You want it as tight as, you don't want the eggs to ever have a chance to move. And so once you pack them, of course, you tape them up. And they're nice taped. They're in here secure. They're not going to move around. But I would not ship this box. Yes, they are secure. Yes, there's packing all the way around it. It could be okay. This is a tiny box. This wouldn't cost much to ship. But for making sure they're secure and making sure that, my customer has the best chance to have eggs that are not broke, that are fresh enough and good enough to hatch, I am going to put that box inside another box. So I've got a box a little bigger than this box, the box that my eggs are in. So I've got another box. And I know this is overkill, but this has always worked best for me. I love receiving eggs that are shipped this way. I always get a 70-75% hatch rate on the eggs that are shipped to me. My customers that have bought eggs from me always has good hatch rates. So what I would do was I would take my bigger box. I would put some kind of padding in it on the bottom, on the base, some kind of padding, whether it be the shredded mail, you know, peanuts, or you can use pine shavings. But I take my box that I've nice and securely packed. I stick this on the bottom where I've had my nice shavings or my packing in here. And then I would fill up all the way around this box. Make sure your inside box is pointed with the air cells up. See, make sure you have your air cells up. And then fill in padding all the way around it. And then set it up and fill in the padding all the way across the top. So you now have a box inside a box with padding all the way around the small box and padding all in around your eggs. These eggs should not get broke. They really should. They should not get a single crack. Nothing's going to move. You have it so tightly packed in here, nothing's moving. Nothing's moving. And if this box gets, they should not break. There is just no way. I've never had broke eggs when this happens. And the packages are thrown around, they're tossed, they're dropped. You want to give the best chance possible for your shipped eggs to hatch. It's good for business. It's good for your customer. It's just good. And it's good to give the chicks a little chance. So once you've done all that, and you can always throw some stickers, once you've got them packed in your bigger box, you can always throw some this side up stickers to make sure your air cells are staying up as much as possible during their transport. It gives the best chance of hatching. Once the air cells get destroyed, sometimes you can still hatch them if you're really easy with them, but a lot of the times they're just not going to hatch. And that's why hatching shipped eggs is always a gamble. It really is. It doesn't matter how good you can ship them or how fast you can get them to your customer. It just, hatching shipped eggs is just a gamble. For shipping, I prefer UPS second day airmail because it gets it there the fastest and gets the freshest eggs possible to your customer. It's also one that seems to always get there on time. I've never had lateness. I've never had delay. Yes, it costs a little bit extra money. It's usually not much if you use some of the shipping discount websites.